You're listening to NFT 365, the first daily podcast on NFTs with your host, Fanzo.
Welcome back to another episode of NFT 365. Today is episode 75, which I was going to make a big deal about episode 75, but I'm not really sure the number matters because you guys know I talk about the numbers all the time. We launched on 11/11/21, and we are bringing this entire thing to a culmination on 11/11/22. And so, numbers are a big part of this. My hockey number being 93. We are doing 365 days. We dropped an NFT that cost $365 US. That's part of the game. That's part of the fun that we're having here on NFT 365. Excited also, we launched with our new sponsor yesterday, the Creator Economy Expo, which is happening in Phoenix, Arizona on May 2nd. I'll talk a little bit more about that as we get into it. But on this episode, one of the episodes I talked earlier on in the season of the show was about the trends, and I will tell you that episode got downloaded a ton. And funny enough, I almost didn't do that episode because I feel like there's a lot of podcasts and a lot of content on trends and things that are going on. But I had someone remind me earlier today during an interview that I was being interviewed, and they said that they really appreciated my ability to look at certain trends and then provide a perspective that maybe others aren't sharing or aren't conveying around the trend. And so that's what we're going to cover on today's episode. And the trends inside of NFTs, inside of crypto, metaverse, they're all over the place. We're getting prepared for the Super Bowl, which we could call, usually there's a number with the Super Bowl. We could just call this Super Bowl NFT. I posted in our Discord, I was wondering, is it going to be over under 10 Super Bowl commercials that mention NFTs? I don't know. It'll be very interesting on seeing kind of how that all kind of unfolds with the Super Bowl. But for me, one of the things that I like to focus on when I'm looking at trends, when I'm thinking about the future, is that it's easy for us to focus on the in the moment or what everyone's talking about, but I think we have to take a step back and think about the greater impact, as well as understanding some of the nuances, especially, in this Web3 NFT space, right? And it's very easy to talk about the shiny objects and, Bored Ape Yacht Club and how many millions of dollars this NFT was bought for. But I don't believe that attracts actually the right audience to the NFT space. And in many ways, I look at the NFT community as, a lot of the people that are in it today, a lot of them are early adopters. A lot of them came over from crypto. A lot might be artists that were kind of, emerging here. A lot are from Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces that, if you're on Clubhouse or you're active on Twitter Spaces, you literally cannot get away from conversations around NFT and crypto. But there is a whole bunch of this world that, NFTs still seem like, maybe it's the thing that celebrities are doing, or, last night, Jimmy Fallon with Paris Hilton, and shout out to Paris Hilton. I think Paris Hilton has done a great job being an advocate for NFTs, and just the way that she brings these conversations to light, I think are, really, it's really important to not only provide different perspectives, but also it's important for us to hear things through different mediums and different versions of medium. And so for me, I wanted to cover a couple things. And the first one is, Twitter rolled out in the last week the idea that now your profile photo can be verified. I don't know why I said photo like that. Sorry, that was your profile photo can be verified with your NFT collection, right? And most people, for the most part, were excited about this. There was a kind of a little bit of an uproar on Twitter because to enable this feature, you had to enable Twitter Blue, which is the Twitter subscription model, which is $2.99 a month, and you get a couple of extra features. I subscribed to Twitter Blue the day it came out. I find a little bit irony in the fact that people are complaining, people that are willing to pay hundreds of dollars in gas or $500, for $5 a month to boost a server on Discord, we're very much in an uproar about the fact that Twitter rolled out this feature underneath of the fact that you need to be on Twitter Blue. But I actually think there's a bigger conversation here, right? Because yes, it's cool that it's a hexagon. If you are verified, if you have your Twitter, if you click on Twitter and you connect your wallet, it actually allows you to connect to your NFT collection. We did do a little bit of research on kind of the security side. It is actually pretty easy to disconnect your wallet, and it's not actually a live connection. So from a security perspective, Twitter covered their basis. There was a lot of people that were talking about they wished that the Twitter verification or Twitter NFT only used verified collections. In my opinion, that would be everything that's wrong with this space, right? Because OpenSea takes forever to verify a collection, and just being verified doesn't, there's a whole slew of amazing projects that are not verified. There's amazing artists that are creating that will never have their project verified. And the fact that we want to create some kind of hierarchy in there, I think is a mistake personally. But when I think about this in a bigger context, right? I was verified on Twitter back in 2015. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was running one of the largest Twitter chats every single Monday called Social Business Hour. And I was very heavy into Periscope and live streaming and doing a lot of influencer work in that space. And I will tell you, getting verified on Twitter or getting verified on a platform is something that a lot of people seek to have. And weirdly enough, some people like it because it's maybe it's a validation, or maybe they think that people will, give them more respect or treat them better. I do feel like if I direct message a brand or a influencer, I have a higher likelihood of them replying because I am verified. But I actually look at this, this NFT segment into the greater picture of how do we fix right now what I believe is the stopgap when it comes to the blockchain. And what I want to explain on that is right now, when we talk a lot about when something is put onto the blockchain that is there forever and it has a chain of custody and we're able to see who owns it, how much they sell it for. But here's the problem. Who verifies that what is actually going on the blockchain is actually legit, right? Just because we can validate something, just because it has a chain of custody, doesn't mean that the origination of whatever product or service or project is actually legit. Hence the reason that rug pulls exist and people are able to kind of play in that arena. And so what I think of this as Twitter kind of moving to this arena and allowing you to connect your wallet via your mobile device is bigger picture. This is another element of demonstrating trust, right? And so for me, that's what that verification symbol on Twitter means. And so when we think about this in this game of Web3, when it comes to cryptocurrency, creator coins, NFTs, metaverse, all of this amazing, kind of technology and emergence into Web3, one of the bigger aspects that we have to really kind of understand is that element of trust. And the reason that it's extra stressful is because of the financial component that is attached to NFTs. And I've said this before on the podcast, and I'll say it again. In 2014, I was giving a keynote about blockchain and how excited I was for the blockchain technology. And what I said on that keynote was please, for the love of all things, don't let cryptocurrency be the first mainstream adoption of the power of the blockchain. Now, as you guys might be able to tell, my wishes or dreams did not come true, and cryptocurrency became the first kind of mass adopted use case. Some could argue it's not mass adopted yet, but let's face it, I think the average person now today knows the terms Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. They probably get the two of them mixed up. They think all cryptocurrency is Bitcoin, or Bitcoin is the name for all cryptocurrency, but I'm not one that likes to argue nuances. I think small people argue over small things, trying to correct people from saying that kind of stuff. But what I think the Twitter conversation, and really the conversation as a whole here, is what are the things that we can do using Web 2 solutions that allow us to build additional trust layers into Web 3? And so that's how I look at that, right? So when I see a hexagon on someone's profile on Twitter, it's not oh my goodness, they have that amazing NFT, but at least I now know that they are connected to their wallet, they have a MetaMask, and they are who they say they are. Because there are a lot of people right now, and I posted a tweet about this earlier, and I'm at the point, let's not even say, I'm not even at the point anymore. I am moving forward where if I see NFT influencers that are promoting and advertising and advocating for people to buy an NFT project, and that person has not bought that NFT project themselves, and they do not stand behind it when it falls or when there might be issues, I'm no longer okay with that. And I think, for a little while there, I was trying to kind of stay a little bit neutral, but I feel like there's like that gray area where, I want to focus on educating people in the audience. But if we deal with so many people that are manipulating and forcing people to do things, not forcing them, but really using their influence to really manipulate in many ways their audience, I just think that's uncalled for. I think it's shameful. I think if you're listening to this podcast and you feel like you are that person, right now is the time to change, to stop doing that. No one NFT project is worth jeopardizing the trust you have with your audience and your community. And unfortunately, I think that's been overlooked when all of these shill project comes out and people just want a whitelist or an NFT to promote something. And I will tell you, here on this podcast, that is not happening. I'm getting hit up all day, every day with people that are shilling whatever they got. And I promise you, we will be doing the due diligence. And if we talk about a project or we are advocating or mentioning something, I will tell you if I own it. If we bought it for Mint 365, I will explain to you how I discovered it. I will make sure to caveat that we have to do your own damn research. But also at the same time, I believe we have to kind of look at these elements of trust and how do we, enable that trust. And so the Twitter piece, I will say, I think it's really, kudos to Twitter. Twitter's been my favorite social platform for a long while, but I've also been kind of disappointed on Twitter's ability to market their own innovations and their own features for far too long. And a lot of that changed as Kayvon became more of a leader over there at Twitter, as Twitter rolled out Twitter Spaces, and they really did a great job of innovating transparently and out in the public. And now I look at Twitter as a platform that is not only willing to innovate, right? You can go on my Twitter right now, click on the tip button, and you can tip me in Bitcoin right now on Twitter. Most people don't even realize that that's a feature, right? And so when we look at these different things, not only do we have to look at it from what are these platforms doing to push us forward, but how are these platforms or these features or the different aspects allowing us to build trust? Now that brings me forward to one of the the vulnerabilities that was kind of exposed the last couple of days, and what the vulnerability was that was exposed was that this advice was being given out a lot by others. You never heard this advice coming from me because it felt like a hack that was trying to hack the blockchain that wasn't built for it, and I didn't have enough research or data to understand it. And what was happening was, if you are trying to, of course, sell or cancel a sale, if you're posting your NFT for sale on OpenSea and you want to cancel it, there's a gas fee that's charged there. Usually it's about $20, $12 to $20 or so that is charged. And one of the ways that many people were getting around that was, rather than canceling the for sale public transfer, they would just transfer it to another wallet, and then the item would no longer be for sale. That sounds like, wow, okay, we just fixed the problem. Well, what happened was that if that person, which is what happened the other day, transfers that same NFT back to that original wallet that it was for sale for, the NFT will actually still stay as in that sale cycle, because it actually technically wasn't removed from sale on OpenSea. It was the link to the actual NFT was shifted out of the wallet, but that initiation still was there inside of OpenSea. And what happened was they moved Bored Apes and Mutant Apes back in, and they posted at a very low price point, and someone just sweeped in and bought the 4 NFTs or so that they had at that price point. And we might say, like, that's an OpenSea problem. We might say that is, it's part of like human error. But I think part of this comes down to, we have to respect the technology and the mediums that we're using. And we also have to understand that with that risk, right? When you're starting to do things that are hacking or trying to get around fees and charges, the reason that those things aren't done by everyone is because there is a risk associated. And I think it's very easy for us to blame the fact that there's no customer service or checks and balances available here in the blockchain. But I think that's a little bit short-sighted, right? Like it's like, we're the ones we're trying to do things that it wasn't designed for. And then when it fails, we want people to pay us or like refund us or feel bad for us. And so I just think it's important for that, right? Without question, I am a white hat hacker. I am one that is always looking for ways to, see through the woods, kind of dissect things in different ways. But at the same time, I understand the risk that comes with that, right? When I was jailbreaking my iPhone and they would say, this might violate your iPhone warranty. When I went to Apple to get my phone fixed and they're like, hey, we know you jailbroke this. We can't give you that, cash in on the warranty. The only person to blame there was me because I did that knowingly that was the risk that I was going to have. And guess what I did the next iPhone I got? I also jailbroke that iPhone because for me, the rewards that I was getting actually outweighed the risk. Hence why I did it. And so I challenge everyone to kind of look at that, to wrap up that kind of trend or that story. OpenSea actually did end up refunding the person that got their NFT sold at a massive discount, which is, hey, kudos to them and kudos for them doing that. Now, with all that being said, this is the creator economy. And part of the beauty of the creator economy is the shift of ownership. It is no longer ownership of platforms. It is no longer ownership of big entities. It's rather individual ownership, right? And I've said this a lot. I continue to hit it home, right? I worked in cybersecurity for the Department of Defense, and the number one vulnerability in cybersecurity at the Department of Defense is not the Chinese. It is not the Russians. It is not your 17-year-old neighbor. It is not like little hackers. It is actually a term called insider threat. And what that means is it's actually human error is the number one vulnerability that causes cybersecurity issues. Either a person willingly or unwillingly, without knowing, gives away the password, clicks on a link, and exposes the network. And so here's the thing that I want people to kind of think about and embrace and understand is that if we want this decentralization and the control to be shifted off of the platforms, we also have to recognize that we as creators must evolve. We as creators must surround ourselves with creators that are willing to not only support, but educate and advocate. And so that's why I was excited when the Creator Economy Expo decided to sponsor our podcast. Right now they're actually selling a collection of 100 NFTs, and those 100 NFTs contain what you get for holding that NFT from the Creator Economy Expo. It's actually a never-ending lifetime VIP access to the Creator Economy Expo event that is actually happening on May 2nd in Phoenix, Arizona, and all of the additional events that they will have after that. And I will tell you, Joe and Brian, the two founders of that event, are putting together a heck of a lineup. I love the NFTs. The art is really cool as well. And I mean, how interesting is that, right? If you really want to, take it to the next step in this whole creator economy, we have to own that it's up to us to educate ourselves. It's up to us to educate our audience. It's up to us to surround ourselves with people that make us better, that allow us to accomplish things that maybe we've never even realized were possible. And for me, that's, like great events like the Creator Economy Expo that's happening there on May 2nd. So make sure you guys check it out. There are only 100 total of those VIP tickets available. You can buy them on OpenSea, or you can actually, I think, mint them over on mint.cex.events. That's mint.cex.events. And, I think, when we talk about events, we can't overlook the fact that the Super Bowl is coming up, right? And I mentioned earlier, right, like what's the over under of people mentioning the Super Bowl in, Super Bowl the Super Bowl commercials mentioning NFTs. But here's the thing that I actually looking at this, right? I'm actually looking at the Super Bowl commercials that mention crypto and NFTs, not for what brands are doing it, but rather what is their word choice in how they're delivering their message around this industry, around the space. Because no offense to Matt Damon or Ben Affleck, I know you guys like to fight against each other, but no offense to Matt Damon or Ben Affleck or, celebrities, but a celebrity telling me to go to, invest on crypto.com, for me, that's very 1999 marketing, right? Like what makes us think that because a celebrity is hawking a crypto exchange, that all of a sudden now we are going to be like, oh, I didn't believe in crypto, but because Matt Damon told me that I should be on crypto.com, now it makes sense. Of course. Like, why not? No, that is 1999 marketing. When we look at today, it's about people that we can relate to. And I believe that most of the brands, most of the commercials are going to miss the mark. I believe I'm going to be extremely disappointed at this year's Super Bowl commercials that mention crypto and that mention NFTs, not because I think that they're not going to happen and it's going to be a buzz and my dad's going to be like, oh, Brian, I now understand, what are these NFT things that you're talking about? And, no shot at my dad. My dad holds my NFT, massive holder of my ADHD coin. So mad love to my dad. But the question becomes, imagine if they had people that look like us on the commercials talking about their experiences or sharing their journey on how it opened up doors, allowed them to connect with people, allowed them to be found and heard, allowed them to be surrounded with people that they didn't even know existed in the world. But thanks to this NFT they purchased, it unlocked this amazing experience, this amazing opportunity. But they're not going to do that. And I feel like this is where, as a community, as a group, what we have to do is when we talk about these commercials or we share these things out, it's up to us to educate beyond the celebrity hype, but beyond the endorsement. Because I don't know about you guys, but I didn't jump into NFTs because some celebrity told me to, or I didn't jump into NFTs because I thought it was coming from that light, right? Like, I look at it and said, wait a second, like this is a chance for us to unlock community and empower a shared value that truly can lift the rising tide, can lift all boats in a way that we can grow together. Like that to me was the magic. And I think, unfortunately, just knowing the way that the brands work and the different aspects there, really what these Super Bowl commercials are going to do, they're going to make our parents and that one uncle that we have start sending us text messages annoying us. They're going to have all of the bros and the hype masters that like to hype their coins and just promote their own bag. It's going to give them a vehicle to feel as though they're validated. And then it's going to give us a lot of fodder to talk about. And here's the thing. I will not shy away from conversations around these topics. But I think it's important for us to just think about it from a standpoint of, like, how do we onboard people that can embrace this medium in a way that is positive and pushes us forward? It's not about celebrity endorsements. It's about us telling the story. And I said that on the last episode. Like, if each person that has that aha moment in NFTs tells one person, this space is better. Now, the other part of this is, the Coinbase NFT platform. And I've mentioned before, one of the episodes we're going to have this week on the podcast, I do have two of the different, actually I will have three by the time we do the podcast, but a couple of the hardware wallets, right? So I have right now the SecureX, the V20 NFT wallet, hardware wallet. I'm going to do a comparison for you guys. So before you spend your money, I'll kind of give you like the pros and the cons of each. Neither one of these companies currently sponsor anything, or I paid full retail price for these products. So I will give you the straight up truth on, is it worth using? What's the pros? What's the cons? But the reason I bring that up in the sense of like looking at these different components, with Coinbase, NFTs coming into the market. We know that Facebook has talked about it. We know that Reddit has leaked that they're going to get into the NFT game. No doubt Instagram will be. LinkedIn will probably come in the game 5 years from now, and hoping that we're excited for NFT. No, I love LinkedIn. I feel bad sometimes. I shouldn't give LinkedIn so much crap because it's one of my favorite platforms, and I love what Microsoft's doing over there. But yeah, we just have to admit they're a little bit usually late to the party. But with all of that being said, when I look at Coinbase NFTs, it's very easy for us to say, oh my goodness, they have 2 million plus people on the wait list. Like, this is going to infuse a whole lot of new blood, a whole lot of new people into the space. I think ultimately what it's going to do is it's going to give people the opportunity to come into the space. The question is, are the way that we are bringing projects to light, the way that we are having these conversations, are they worthy enough to attract people that aren't already early adopters, that aren't already on the bleeding edge. And here's the thing. If you're listening to this podcast right now, or maybe you're watching the live video, we're live streaming on IG Live, or streaming over on Twitter Live as well. If you're listening to this right now, you have an early adoption mindset to just even listen in, right? And I've said this for everyone. Do your own damn research. This is not financial advice. And remember, it has to be right for you, right? And that means you shouldn't be kind of like operating outside your means. And if the financial obligation is a barrier, please go check out our website and just follow along on the journey. I mean, I'm buying an NFT every single day for a year. I'm going to have a time capsule of what this community looked like from November 11th of last year to November 11th of this year. And I want to bring you guys on the journey with me. It does not cost any money to follow along and check out the updates that we have each day as we buy an NFT project, as we kind of drive that narrative around that. But the thing that I think about when it comes to Coinbase NFTs, and here's the truth. When someone asks me, like, Brian, what do you think is going to happen when Coinbase NFT marketplace opens up the doors? And I said, we're going to get a lot more of the same questions that we've been answering for 6 months. We're going to have a lot more rug pulls than we have right now. We're going to have a lot more crappy projects that are projecting roadmaps that they're trying to deliver on things their ass can't cash. We're going to have a lot more opportunities to expose people to the power and the beauty of what's possible in this arena, but also the opportunity for those that prey on the weak and prey on those that are unsure. And that's one of the things that we have to just recognize and own. And I don't want people to get overly hyped. Like, I am passionate. I am optimistic. I mean, I have moved all in. I mean, what more all in can I say than every single day for a year, 365 days and holidays, I'm buying an NFT and I'm doing a podcast. Like, literally, that's how all in I am. But I'm also going to be one that I'm going to put on my little futurist hat right now, right? I'm going to put on my futurist hat. My prediction is 6 months from now, as an NFT community, we are going to be no more forward than we are right now. We have the possibility to embrace and drive a culture that is more designed in our favor. But we have a long way to go before this quote unquote mass adoption, or quote unquote, like, how do we get it mainstream? Those that are trying to focus on getting it mainstream or mass adoption are kind of missing the mark. The mark here is, if we are able to tell the stories, we are able to mitigate some of the ability for people to be scammed out of things. We're able to increase the technology components to where they're a little bit simpler to use, because let's face it, I'm buying an NFT every day. We've done it on 9 blockchains. If I asked you right now to buy an NFT on the Matic, with Matic cryptocurrency, would you be able to do that? Probably not. The average person's not going to be doing it. I don't think the average person would be like, well, Brian, I have a MetaMask. How do I buy a Solana NFT? Well, MetaMask doesn't allow you to buy a Solana NFT. You're going to have to get a Phantom wallet. Phantom wallet is my personal favorite for Solana. And you're going to have to, use an exchange like Coinbase to exchange your crypto into Solana. And then you're going to have your Solana and you're going to send it over to the Phantom wallet. Well, then you're like, well, Brian, is OpenSea connect to my Phantom wallet? No. OpenSea doesn't exist on that blockchain. OpenSea is a market chain for Ethereum and Polygon NFTs. What you're going to have to look for over on Solana is you're going to have Magic Eden and SoulSea and SoulArt and some of the other marketplaces that exist. And the reason I say all of that is because you're overwhelmed. You're a little bit confused. I'm going a little bit fast. But can you imagine all of the people that aren't even taking the time to listen to a podcast, that all of a sudden are going to get an email from Coinbase NFTs that say, the doors are open, go buy yourself your next 100x lottery ticket. And they jump in, they're excited, they get a DM that says, congratulations, you've been added to the whitelist. Just click this button. They click that button, it says, just sync up your wallet. And they're like, I know that's what I'm supposed to do. They click sync, and then that link says, please insert your seed phrase. And well, everyone that listens to this podcast knows one thing. At no time ever will you be asked for, or should you give, your seed phrase to anyone. Your seed phrase is different than your wallet address. Your wallet address is like your email address. You can give out your wallet address to people. It can either be an ENS domain or it can be a hash. But the seed phrase is either 12 words or 24 words, and that is the master key to your wallet. And if you give it out, you no longer have control of what happens to your wallet. It's just like the master key of a Lamborghini. I could give you the copies of the key and you could drive the Lamborghini, but whoever has the master key, no matter where that Lamborghini is parked, I can take that master key, go unlock that Lambo, and you can tell I don't own a Lambo because I just said unlock as if it's probably like push start now. It's probably actually AI start. I have no idea. I drive a Jeep Wrangler. I'm a Jeep guy. But I say all of that because we have to manage expectations. We have to manage expectations of our goal, and our optimism shouldn't be around mass adoption. Our goal and our optimism should be tied to more education, more ability to tell the stories and the use cases of NFTs. I was talking to a gentleman today who has a massive art collection that was explaining to me how the galleries really make it impossible for those that have amazing art collections to have any control on reselling their art as a collector. And they want to be able to sell it because it's just sitting in a crate. And the more we talked about NFT twins and we are building a strategy around using some of the art-based marketplaces, the more aha moments that existed. Like the idea that we can remove the starving from the starving artist, the idea that we can empower, communities and individuals to find their people, to me is what this is all about. Like my North Star, and the reason I love, to talk about that harmony between technology and humanity, is that I believe if we approach innovation and the future correctly, that we have the ability to make the world a little bit less lonely of a place. Yeah, that's where I'm going here. I actually look at it as the loneliness factor, right? Like there is no reason, as connected as we are as a society and a generation, there is no reason as a culture that the suicide rate is going up. There is no reason that people feel more alone today than they did 5 years ago. And part of that byproduct, part of that problem stems from our own lack of vulnerability, lack of humanity and empathy. But it's also about finding your people. And social media, digital, online has not been great at helping us find our people. And I didn't say help you find your Facebook friend that you went to school with in high school. And I didn't say someone that is a coach just like you are. But to find your people that get you, that understand you, that you probably would have only interacted with if you guys were brought together. And that's where I look at what NFTs can empower. And so hopefully when you guys listen to the trends and you listen to the buzz and the media coverage, they're going to talk about what brands are talking about NFTs. They're going to talk about the fact that people are still getting scammed and the problem with OpenSea, and OpenSea is the problem. But I really think we need to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. And we need to own part of this journey, part of this conversation ourselves. And part of that ownership means we need to be very diligent in managing our expectations and taking our own role in moving things to the next level. So I know I did mention that event that, CEX, which is the Creator Economy Expo. I will be there on May 2nd in Phoenix, Arizona. So hopefully I will see you guys there. Definitely jump in and get one of those limited edition. There's only 100 available. I think there's less than 75 now available of those NFTs that get you VIP access to all of the events, every event moving forward. And I want to give a shout out. Thank you for sponsoring the podcast, for helping us, bring, this content there every single day. And thank you all that are listening. Thank you for all that are a part of this community. I just love it. I wake up right now excited about what's going on, excited the possibility to hopefully educate, hopefully motivate, hopefully inspire, but more so than anything else, like my goal is just to, provide a perspective and a mindset that hopefully inspires your creativity, allows you to recognize that we do and we are living in the greatest time in history. We have the ability to reimagine the future of work, reimagine the future of personal responsibility. We have the idea that we get to remap the way that, limitations and censorship has been, kind of deployed upon us as a group and a society. But it's up to us to own that, or we can just sit around and debate Bitcoin and Shiba Inu, or complain about OpenSea, or just hype our bag and promote whatever company is sending us one ETH to talk about, because if that's what we continue to do and that's what we continue to support, we got a long way to go. But I'm bullish and I'm confident on each and every one of you. And I believe if you're listening to this podcast, if you're subscribing to the podcast, if you take this podcast episode and you drop it in a Discord, whatever your favorite NFT project is, take your favorite episode of this podcast, drop it in your favorite Discord under the shill promote. Don't spam. Please do not spam. But if there's a shill or promote section in your favorite Discord, take the podcast episode and drop it in there. I'm not doing that because I want you to do it for me. I think we need to do it for our community. We need to amplify those that are educating, those that are motivating, those that are inspiring, and those that are ultimately building a culture that we want to be a part of. Until tomorrow, my friends, make it a great day. Cheers.